You found out your ex is already with someone else, and I know exactly where your head's at right now. You're replaying everything, every conversation, every fight, every moment you thought actually meant something, and now you're staring at your phone. Or maybe you saw something on social media and your chest feels tight. Your brain won't stop asking the same question over and over. Does this mean it's over? Like, really over? Here's the thing, and I'm gonna be straight with you because sugarcoating this wouldn't help you at all. That new relationship, it's probably not what you think it is. I know that sounds like something people say just to make you feel better, like some kind of cope. But stick with me here, because once you understand what's actually going on, everything changes. The way you see this, the way you feel about it, and most importantly, what you do next. When someone jumps into a new relationship right after a breakup, it almost never happens because they're over you. It usually happens because they feel too much, because the weight of what they're feeling is so heavy, so uncomfortable, that they can't handle it alone. Think about this for a second. If someone was truly done with you, if the feelings were gone, if the connection had faded, they wouldn't need anyone, right? They'd be fine on their own, they'd take their time, process what happened, heal properly, move on when they're actually ready. But that's not what happened here. What happened is they went straight from you into someone else's arms. And that's not the behavior of someone who's healed. That's not someone who's moved on. That's someone who's running. And I need you to really understand why. When a relationship ends, especially one that mattered, there's this void that opens up. And it's not a small void. It's massive. It's uncomfortable. It's terrifying. That void is filled with silence, with too much time to think, with memories that hit you at random moments, with nights that feel endless and mornings that feel pointless, with that weight in your chest that doesn't go away no matter what you do. And here's the thing most people don't talk about. Most people can't sit with that. Most people don't have the emotional tools to face that kind of discomfort, to wake up alone and be okay with it, to sit in silence without reaching for something, anything, to fill the space. So what do? They find someone, not because that person is better than you, not because they suddenly fell in love, not because they found their soulmate 2 weeks after your relationship ended. They find someone because having another person there makes the pain quieter, makes the nights shorter, makes the void feel less empty. It's like putting a band-aid on a wound that needs stitches. It stops the bleeding for a moment. It covers what's underneath. It looks like healing from the outside, but it doesn't actually fix anything. And eventually, that band-aid falls off, and the wound is still there, sometimes worse than before. Now here's where this gets really interesting. And this is the part that most people completely miss. That new person your ex is with, they're not competing with you, they're competing with the memory of you. And that is a battle they are almost guaranteed to lose. Let me break down what happens inside someone's head when they start a rebound relationship. Because once you see this, you'll never look at the situation the same way again. At first, it feels good. There's excitement, there's novelty, there's someone new giving them attention, making them feel wanted, filling that empty space that was eating them alive. And for a few days, maybe a few weeks, it works. The distraction is effective. They're not thinking about you as much. They're busy, they're occupied. They convince themselves they made the right choice. But then something starts to shift. It's subtle at first, almost invisible. They start noticing things, small things, things they can't quite put into words. The way this new person laughs, it's not quite right. The conversations don't flow the same way. There's no shorthand, no inside jokes that land perfectly, no comfortable silence that feels peaceful instead of awkward. They reach for their phone to share something funny, and for a split second, they almost text you instead. They hear a song and their chest tightens. Because it's your song, not theirs, yours. They're lying in bed next to this new person, and somehow they feel more alone than when they were actually alone. And that's when the comparisons begin. They don't want to compare. They try not to. They tell themselves it's not fair to this new person. But the brain doesn't care about fair. The brain does it automatically. And every single time this new person falls short of what you gave them, they think of you. Not consciously, not obviously, but in that quiet, uncomfortable way that creeps in at 2 a.m. when you're lying in the dark trying to convince yourself you made the right decision. This is what most people don't understand about rebound relationships. The new person isn't a replacement, they're a mirror. And every single day, that mirror reflects what's missing, what they lost, what they threw away, what they're trying so hard to forget but can't. So no, this doesn't mean it's over. In many cases, this means the exact opposite. It means your ex is struggling with how much they still feel. It means they couldn't sit with the weight of losing you. It means somewhere deep inside them, there's a part that isn't ready to let go. That might never be ready to let go. But, and this is important, knowing this doesn't mean you should do something stupid. Because here's where most people mess everything up. They find out about the new relationship and they panic. They react from emotion instead of logic. They send long messages explaining their feelings. They show up places trying to accidentally run into them. They post things on social media hoping their ex will see. They try to prove somehow that they're better than the new person. And all of that, every single bit of it, pushes them further away. All of that confirms in their mind that leaving was the right choice, that you're desperate, that you haven't changed, that you're still the same person they walked away from. I know it's hard, trust me, I know. Every part of you wants to fight for this. Every instinct is screaming at you to do something, anything. But fighting the wrong way doesn't show strength, it shows desperation. And desperation is the opposite of attraction. So what do you actually do? When everything inside you wants to react, what's the move? You do the hardest thing possible. You step back, not because you're giving up, not because you don't care, but because stepping back is what creates the space for them to actually feel your absence. See, right now, they're distracted. They have someone filling the void. They don't have to face the loss because someone else is softening the blow. But that won't last. Rebound relationships have an expiration date. The excitement fades, the novelty wears off, reality sets in. And when that happens, when they're lying next to someone who isn't you and feeling emptier than ever, that's when your absence becomes loud. That's when they start remembering, really remembering, not the fights, not the problems, but the good stuff, the connection, the moments that mattered, the feeling of being truly known by someone. That's when they start missing you in a way they can't ignore anymore. But here's the key. For that to happen, you can't be chasing them. You can't be available every time they reach out. You can't be sitting around waiting, hoping, checking your phone every 5 minutes. You need to actually live your life, not as a strategy, not as a game to win them back, but as a genuine commitment to yourself. This is the part most people completely skip, and it's exactly why most people fail at this. They think stepping back means doing nothing, just waiting passively while life happens around them. No, stepping back means redirecting all that energy, all that emotion, all that focus you were putting into the relationship, into yourself. Your health, your fitness, your career, your friendships, your goals, the things you've been putting off, the version of yourself you've been meaning to become. Before we continue, let me ask you something really quick. If this content is helping you see your relationship in a different way, subscribe to the channel. It's 100% free, it costs nothing, and it's what allows me to keep bringing deeper, truly useful content for people who are living exactly what you're living right now. Now let me tell you something important. The few people who actually manage to rebuild a relationship after a breakup are not the ones who insist the most, nor the ones who try to simply communicate better. They're the ones who understand what changes emotionally after a breakup. They understand timing, they know when silence is necessary. They understand why certain actions push someone away and why others at the right moment start to reopen doors. That's why I created the second chance formula. It's not about acting on impulse or trying to fix everything at once. It's a structured method designed to rebuild emotional connection the right way, even when the other person is cold, distant, or saying they don't feel the same anymore. When you join, you don't go in alone. You get access to real cases, real decisions, and a clear structure organized by emotional phases, so you know exactly what to do, what to avoid, and when to act. On top of that, the method follows different paths for men and women, because what creates emotional safety for one can feel like pressure to the other. And at key moments in the process, I personally analyze your case to guide you with clarity. If you want to get out of trial and error mode and follow a more conscious, intelligent path, the link to the second chance formula is in the description. Now let's go back to where we left off. Because here's what happens when you actually do that. When you stop chasing and start building, they notice. Even if they're with someone else, even if they've unfollowed you, even if they're pretending not to care, they notice through social media, through mutual friends, through that invisible thread that still connects you, whether either of you wants it to or not. And when they see you thriving, when they see you laughing in photos that aren't staged, when they hear you're doing things you never did before, when they sense that you're actually okay without them, something shifts. Suddenly, you're not the person desperately trying to hold on. You're not the one blowing up their phone. You're not the predictable ex who can't move on. You're the person who's building something, who's growing, who might actually be fine without them. And that scares them, not in a cruel way, but in a way that makes them question everything. Because if you can be happy without them, maybe they made a mistake. Maybe what they had was more valuable than they realized. Maybe this new person isn't filling the void at all. Maybe the void is just getting deeper. And here's the thing about psychology that most people don't realize. We don't value what we have. We value what we're afraid of losing. When you were chasing them, they had nothing to lose. You were always there, always available, always an option. But when you step back, when you disappear, when you start building a life that doesn't revolve around them, suddenly they might lose you for real. And that fear, that realization that you might actually move on is more powerful than anything you could ever say to them. That's when the messages start coming. Casual at first, testing the waters. Hey, how are you? Saw this and thought of you. Finding excuses to reach out that seem innocent but aren't. And when that happens, you don't jump back in immediately. You don't drop everything and run back. You don't act like you've been waiting by the phone this whole time. You respond calmly. You keep your composure. You show them through your energy, through your vibe, that you're not the same person they left. This isn't about playing games. This isn't about manipulation. This is about showing them through your actions that you've grown, that you've changed, that the version of you they're talking to now is someone worth fighting for. But I want to be real with you about something. This doesn't work every time. Some relationships end for real reasons. Deep incompatibilities, trust that can't be rebuilt, damage that's too extensive. Some people move on and genuinely don't look back. Some situations are too broken to repair. I'm not going to sit here and promise you that if you follow this, they'll definitely come back. That would be dishonest, and I'd rather give you an uncomfortable truth than a comfortable lie. What I can tell you is this: if there's any chance of reconnection, if there's any possibility of rebuilding what you had, this is how you create the conditions for it to happen. Not by chasing, not by begging, not by trying to compete with someone who's just a band-aid on an open wound, by becoming the best version of yourself, by letting your absence do the talking, by showing them what they lost through who you've become. And here's the part that actually matters most. If they don't come back, you've still built something valuable, you've still grown, you've still become someone stronger, someone who knows their worth, someone who doesn't need to chase anyone. The process of getting them back, when done right, is the same process that makes you someone who doesn't need them back. And that's the real win here. Not the relationship, not getting them to choose you again. The real win is becoming someone who can walk into any relationship, any situation from a place of strength. Not desperation, not neediness, but genuine confidence that comes from knowing exactly who you are and what you bring. That's something no rebound relationship can compete with. So here's what I want you to take from this. Stop spiraling about the new relationship. It's probably not what it looks like. It's probably a band-aid on a wound that's still bleeding. And band-aids don't last. Focus on yourself, not as a tactic, not as a move in some chess game, but as a genuine way of life. Because whether they come back or not, this is how you win. Let time do its work. Rebounds have an expiration date. The cracks will show. The comparisons will start. The emptiness will creep back in. And when they reach out, because there's a good chance they will, be ready, be different, be the person they didn't realize they were losing until it was too late. That's how this actually works. Not with grand gestures, not with long messages, not with desperate attempts to prove your worth. With patience, with growth, with the quiet, unshakable confidence that comes from building yourself into someone who doesn't need to chase. And that is something no new relationship can ever compete with.